Kia ora team, Coach Ray here. Got the opportunity to interview Brett Grieve, who've just finished second in the Abel Tasman Cycle Challenge. Brett, if you can just run through quickly how the race unfolded for you, and then later on in the article I'll go through the power file that you've very kindly supplied for me to put some comment on.
Yeah,
Brett,
sure,
tell us about the event.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, we just sort of turned up at the start, like probably only like 10 minutes before the gun. I sort of just mucking around a bit, so not very much like an army guy, but it worked out good because it's nice and warm. And then basically as soon as we started, Paul Odlin attacked, and I was like, well, he's probably the strongest rider, so I went across to him and we rode together for a little bit just on those rollers, and then they caught us. Actually, they caught us after probably a K, and then he attacked again, and again I went with him, and then they sort of let us go, and we were probably hovering about between 30 seconds and a minute for the next sort of 90k, and it seemed okay. Like, Paul was doing a lot more work than me. He was probably doing 3 to 4k an hour faster, but he's a lot stronger rider than me as well. And then going over like Nerdorf, I think we got the KOM on Strava up Nerdorf, so it was proper hard, sitting on 450 watts, and so I was just sort of, it's a pretty risky strategy going with a guy like that, because you just don't know whether you're going to blow up or not. But
certainly paid off for you today.
Yeah, and then on the climb at 90 k's, it's quite a big climb.
Marihau.
Yeah, Marihau climb. He's put it on. I was doing 450 watts just to stay on his wheel, and I only survived for like a minute or so, and he just sort of rode away from me. But it was okay because there was a chasing group of the Skoda team pretty much, and a few other guys, and I saw that they were probably only like 30 seconds behind at the start of the climb, so it wasn't a big deal. And I sat up, just recovered for a bit, and then when they came through, it had become a bit of like a selection of sort of 10 to 12 riders, and I was able just to surge and get on their wheel and just went with them for the next, well, sort of pretty much all to the end. But I was able, once I caught up to them, I was able to sit on the back and sort of, well, they were riding pretty hard, but I was definitely able to recover, and I was doing less work than what I was with Paul. And then we caught Paul at about 105k mark. Like the roads didn't really suit a solo break. There's a bit of wind and so forth, and the guys were hitting it pretty hard on the hills. And then with the group, there's so many people working, it was going to be hard to stay away from that. So and then it was about a dozen of us and 6 Skoda guys, so it was a pretty crazy combo. You had Josh Aldridge and Ari Scott, Oddie, me, there's a couple of other guys, and so we were kind of Team Skoda really were they had all the cards, and so Oddie actually organised us, and he said, right, if a Skoda guy goes up the road, we've got to mark him. It doesn't matter who does it, somebody's got to do it. And so we're just sort of playing that game where we weren't working, Skoda was still sort of driving it, and they were just attacking. And then the decisive move, Joe Yates, he'd been sitting on pretty much. Like, I think he was their strategy. Actually, talking to Ian Talbot, they said, yeah, that's who they were riding for. And I just happened to be close to the front when Joel attacked, and so I sort of slipped across onto his wheel. It was before Ruby Bay, maybe with about 40 to go, and like he was wanting me to work, but it's like, no way, man, I'm just going to sit here and you can do whatever you want, and I don't care. And they let us go because the Skoda boys stopped riding at that point. And then Ari and Josh Aldridge, they came across to us, and they would have taken maybe 5 minutes to get across.
Sounds like you got a good wee group there.
Yeah, and that 4, like, it was a lot easier in that break than riding with Oddie, but the tactics were right, and so the guys behind, and I think Oddie got a flat actually, so that kind of changed things. So really they just let us go, and I don't know whether we might have got a few minutes in the end, but so us 4, we just sort of rode even, and I was, you want to gauge all the people in the break, and I knew Joel was strong, like he was looking real comfortable. Josh he didn't look too comfortable at all, but Ari it was hard to gauge with Ari. Like, he was kind of, you don't know whether he's acting or whether he's looking
playing the strategy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but so anyway, we just kept rolling, and then on this hill with about 5k to go,
Hart Street.
Yeah, that was like things. We realised it was going to be, the finish was going to be between us 4, and so they were waiting for attack, and I was pretty cooked. So I was like, oh well, we'll just see what happens. Ari was actually the guy who started it. He just attacked super hard, and Joel was straight onto his wheel and then attacked over him. And like I just gave it everything, and it was probably only like 350 watts at that point. And Josh gave up. Yeah. And so those guys were over the top and away, but they'd split right up. Like I don't know. Joel might have got a minute on us in the end, but Ari he was strong, but then over those rollers, he would have probably only had like 100, 150 meters on me, but I was just able to get some good momentum. Like I was thinking about the time trial tactics where you want to just don't push quite so hard on the downhill because you
use the momentum.
Yeah, and then push a bit harder on the up, and you gain time. And I was just doing that, and I was like, far out, actually I'm pulling this guy back. And he started looking around on that, and it was like, the fear, whatever. And I was like, I think I'm going to get you, mate. And I caught up to him just on this final stretch of road here with about maybe 600 meters to go. And it was funny, he like flicked his elbows, like, come on through. And I was like, no, you got to be joking. And so yeah, at that point, I just I was going to sprint him. And he's a little guy, so I thought it was going to be pretty good for a sprint anyway, but he got a bit sloppy, and he was slowing down and he wasn't looking. He was like, right, now's the time. So I just clicked it up, just hit it hard, maybe 100 meters before the final corner, and just rolled the corner nice. I hit the old back tyre on the culvert, and just on the edge there, and actually got a flat. But it didn't matter because the finish was only like 150 meters, and it was just sprinted, and Ari had given up. So yeah, it was pretty cool to, definitely the biggest result I guess in my cycling career, and definitely this year. Like it's been a pretty tough year in terms of results. So yeah, it was a good day out.
Well, congratulations! Thanks for your time. Really appreciate that.
Cool.
And I'll have a look over that power file for you, and I'll flick that through and put an article together. So appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. Good one.
And hope you enjoyed it, team. Press the like and share button and pass it on to your friends as well.